All right, welcome back. Let's begin into all that we're doing on the show. We already have our guest. He's seated. But before I introduce him, let me bring you into what we're doing on the show today. We've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about tennis. We've talked about the handball league. We've talked about things happening here in Nigeria. We're going to be talking about the Super Eagles. Coach Genotro has invited 24 players, play some on standby. So join in the discussion. You can tweet at us at channels_sports. You can also send a mail. Some of you have been sending mails. We'll promise to do justice to some of the things that you've sent. Sports this morning at channelstv.com. Send your comments. Let us know how you feel about all of these issues. Perhaps there's something you want us to be talking about that has not gotten enough time on the show. Let's know about some of those things. All right, so that's it. Let's make it interactive as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me introduce.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of talks on the list released by General for the AFCON qualifier against Sierra Leone.
All right. Yeah. All right. Rotimi Akindele joins us. And Rotimi, let me welcome you. It's been a long time I've seen you, but welcome you at the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Been a while.
Yeah.
I was squaring tire earlier, but it's all good.
It's all good, right?
Good to be here.
We'll sort that out after the show.
No problem.
All right, then. Let's just dive straight into the most topical issue in Nigerian football right now, the AFCON qualifier against Sierra Leone. The list is out. We knew some of the players that will be making this list now. Let's just run through the 24 players that have been called up for this match against Sierra Leone. The goalkeepers, we knew Daniel Akpe was going to make a comeback, so no surprises right there. So he's in the team. There's also Maduka Okoye, but we have a new face, Rotimi. Sebastian Osigwe, who plays for FC Lugano. We'll be coming back to Sebastian shortly. Let's run through the defenders, and this is where this one has generated quite a lot of talks because they don't understand why we need all these defenders for one match. Rotimi, you're laughing.
Games, actually.
2 games, of course. Anyways, Kenneth Omero, Leon Balogun, Chidozie Awazin, William Trust Ekong, Olaoluwa Aina, Jamilu Collins, Sheni Ajayi, Saidu Sanusi, Kevin Akpoguma, and in the midfield.
Okay.
Yeah, Yemi, you're about to say something. Just how many midfielders?
Let me keep it. All right.
All right. Organic Table. Tyron is not a midfielder, so I'm taking it back to the defense as well.
It's overload already.
Frank Oyeka and Joseph Aribo. Right. And the forwards are the usual suspects: Ahmed Musa, Alex Iwobi, Dennis Bonaventure, that's Emmanuel Dennis, Moses Simon, Samuel Chukwueze, Victor Osimhen is making a comeback after missing the last couple of friendly matches, Kelechi Iheanacho and Chidera HK.
Okay, Rotimi, where do we start? Let me just
Rotimi is laughing because he knows where he wants to start.
Let's start with the goalkeepers. Any surprises?
Apart from Osigwe, I'm not sure he was invited to the
other time,
No,
friendlies
it wasn't.
against Algeria and Tunisia. So
senior
he's getting a direct call up. So it leaves us with the question: what happened to Alan Pasu? I think it was only one of the goalkeepers that didn't have his papers yet. So that's the guy that plays in Austria. Tobias, he's the guy that plays in Austria.
Yakubu,
Yakubu Alan Pasu. So maybe he didn't.
Maybe they didn't impress.
Maybe they didn't impress the coach. That's what he has to leave us with now, because we have to start
that's an interpretation.
Okay, probably they didn't impress, or did they pick up injuries and all of that. But hey, we all knew Akpe was going to come back. He talked about Akpe after, I think, the game against Algeria or Tunisia. Maduka Okoye looks like he's going to be a regular. For Osigwe, to be fair on him, he's been consistent with his club side. So it's not like he's coming out of
thin air or something.
Thin air. So he's played 5 games this season already.
He's the number one choice.
He's number one choice for the club in Switzerland. So let's see what he can. Let's see what he can do. Lots of persons are already saying, "Oh, he's only going to come. He's not going to get a share."
The numbers, right?
But hey, you never can tell. Anybody, we don't wish them bad, but anyone can pick up a knock or something.
And I actually believe that goalkeeping position is actually one that is still up for grabs. There's really not been any consistent performer in that position.
Maybe you have a consistent 3.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the number one, consistently
Oh, well.
I'm not very confident.
There's really has not been a goalkeeper that has done enough.
You know that's your number one. I mean, you know.
No, that has even done enough for us to say, if this guy's in goal, we're okay. I mean, we're still making us try this one. But we know that among the rest, there is probably one that's slightly better, but one that inspires confidence, I guess we're here to see that. But
let's get to know Osigwe
a
little bit more before we go into the other lists. We already talked about how he's a goalkeeper, of course, plays for SC Lugano in the Swiss Super League, so he's a top flight player, one of the most consistent in Europe. He's just 26 as well. So he's not even hit his prime for a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers get to hit the prime late 20s, early 30s.
I know they talk about being in mainstream Europe. This answers the question.
Exactly, He was born in Lucerne. He's 1.87 meters tall. And citizenship. He's got dual Nigeria and Switzerland. Decided to play for Nigeria. Like Yemi said at the start of the show, was part of the build-up to the 2013 on the 20 World Cup. He actually played against Belgium. I remember a very decent game for him in that game, but didn't make the final cut. And since then, he's been in the wilderness, but now he's back. Never say never. All you have to do is keep plugging away, keep working hard, and your chance.
Although, on a personal note, I would have loved to see him in a friendly first.
But
I'm not getting wrong.
That's why I said, I mean, if you got an invite in the last international window, we probably would have had, okay, maybe this is what he can do. But it's just coming out of the blues. The guys that made that team, apart from Maduka Okoye,
the others are not. They've been dropped.
Maduka Okoye is practically.
So, but to be fair to Genaro, the last time he was asked this question, just prior to the two international friendlies about this guy, why he's not being called and everything, he clearly stated that he's actually being monitored, he's been scouted, and all that. So I'm sure they've seen enough to get him a direct call up to a competitive match. So let's. But
like we said, we are here answering questions by ourselves, doing the permutations and all that. Probably would have been straightforward if we got to see him. But the defense is where I want to go to. I think he's on overload, and you have two players for each position. And Tyre quite rightly pointed out, you could even take Tyrone Eboyi from the list.
So you have 10.
Because he's a defender.
You've always complained about not having creativity. So I'm thinking if there's a department that should be on overload, it should be. I mean, we should look for midfielders.
What if they're none?
I mean,
what if they're not options?
It's a department in the game that wins you most of the time. So I think
we're mixing what's going on. Well, to be fair, most of the guys listed as forwards.
Okay, like
how many?
That's why I said most of them.
Like who?
Can operate in the midfield.
Like who?
If don't we get, drive yourself into a corner.
I'm not driving myself.
Let's see the forwards. And
maybe we get into probably if we get into that, then we'll come back to defenders. The forwards, you've got Wu, you've got about
Samuel
8 of them or so. You've got Chukwueze, you've got Ejuke, you've got Moses Simon, you've got Alex Iwobi, you've got Kelechi Iheanacho.
Forward wingers.
That's what I'm saying. Most of them can still operate from that midfield.
Yeah, but not specialists.
What do you need? What do you need? What do you need from an attacking midfielder? Most of them they can fit into that AMF role.
I mean, that's a fair point. I agree, but we're just wondering why.
I think you're generous. I think you're generous. Apart from Alex Iwobi, I'm looking at
the others are forwards, wingers,
who can slot in. We're not going to try and we can't do his job for him. But sometimes you look at the Super Eagles game and you're like,
I've always not listed Iheanacho as a point
but he's a forward. He's a support striker.
So he's an attacking midfielder. That's for me. Iheanacho is not a striker.
As a support striker.
He can work as an
striker.
Right behind the striker. You don't want to be deep in the midfield.
I'm not saying deep in the midfield. Of course, Iwobi can give you that.
Iwobi is a forward.
Iwobi is a
that
forward.
That can play as a midfielder.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, before we get carried away, Yemi, we have a few
tweets.
I knew this was going to generate quite the feedback on the list released by Genaro Ogunfora. Okay, before we get to Ogunfora, let's talk about Henry Jr. You're saying the list is a fair one. We don't have enough options in the midfield, and I hope with the number of defenders, we can at least
Keep a clean sheet. I mean, that's the only thing that'll come to your head if you look at the list of defenders.
Keep a clean sheet, you don't lose a game, right?
Except Gennaro is trying to play 2 defenders for the games. And I'm sure that's not going to happen.
It's very strange, I have to say.
Gennaro, I don't think so.
Yeah, anyways, I've got another tweet here from Sports Duchess saying there's a new face every time this list is released and all of that, hoping this doesn't lead to any kind of confusion. But I don't think.
Why? Osigwe?
Osigwe, yeah.
Don't worry. Shouldn't.
Shouldn't lead. No, I mean,
no, it shouldn't.
Yeah, so Rotimi, let's just wrap up the Super Eagles quickly.
Okay, so no excuses really. It's Sierra Leone. Even though they've started, they went into camp on Monday.
Okay.
They invited about 28 locally based players. The foreign-based players would team up with their team a week before the game in Nigeria. So it is expected that, and I like what assistant coach said. He actually, the paraphrasing, he actually said, we are working very hard to earn a respectable scoreline against Nigeria. Yeah,
respectable. What is
scoreline? Those were his words.
Yeah, at least they're not expected to win.
Of course, they're not expected to win Nigeria.
Yeah, okay.
So whether you put 12 defenders,
you're still gonna.
Nigeria should. We have no excuses. Just go in there, win the 2 games. First in Benin, the other one wherever it's happening, hopefully Freetown, and then at least have 1 foot in the Nations Cup for 2020.
I mean, 2 wins and
2022.
Yeah, 2 wins and Nigeria will be as good as qualified for the AFCON. More tweets before we leave the Super Eagles. We have your tweets. Okunora, you're saying the Super Eagles coach has done a noble job by bringing in new lads to make a formidable senior national team. And competition is very good for teams, any sports for that matter. Healthy competitions for places. That's what Okunora is talking about. Yeah. Let's move on from the Super Eagles now.
Let's do that. And hopefully, when they get to play, they win their games. Let's go to the Europa League. Yeah. That's our next stop. And, of course, we might be a bit biased. We look at games involving Nigerian players. 24 matches, of course, can't cover all. But let's look at some selected results for you. Some of our players were in action. And so let's just quickly run through it. Rotimi will take us through the stories behind some of this game. Arsenal rested a lot of players. A lot of people talking about the game against Manchester United. Arsenal against Dundalk, the team from Ireland, I think. They won 3-0. Molde against Rapid Vienna. They won 1-0. You have Benfica up against Standard Liège. Benfica, the Portuguese giant, won 3-0. Rangers were able to win their game 1-0. Real Sociedad lost to Napoli. Victor Osimhen was red-carded in that game. Came in as a substitute. Was red-carded
for his troubles
in that game. So we'll talk about that later. AK Athens and Leicester City were able to win. Jamie Vardy scored in that one. Kelechi Iheanacho came on.
Off the bench,
Off the bench. AC Milan beating Spartak Prague 3-0. Zlatan losing the penalty.
Very rare.
Yeah, you have Karabakh and Villarreal. Villarreal winning 3-1. Sivasspor up against Maccabi Tel Aviv. They lost 1-2. Royal Antwerp. I didn't see this coming. Maybe that's where we start from. Up against Tottenham, 1-0. And Jose Mourinho has some choice words for some of his players. I don't want to use some of those words. But let's start from there, Rotimi, or if there's any other results that get you talking.
I mean, the Spurs game is fair. Losing 1-0 to Antwerp, I think it's a big slap. Considering the pedigree of Spurs. But then again, at some point, if you've been playing loads of games, it's going to tell. And I think to be fair on the club as a whole, this shouldn't come as a shock. But then, Dele Alli, Gareth Bale, come on. You guys are big names, and Antwerp should be doing better in games. And that's why I think Jose will go out and we know what he always does, pick on players and all of that. But then it's not an excuse really for Spurs losing.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. He's made a lot of changes because, like you said, they've played a lot of games.
Loads of games.
Perfect opportunity for these guys.
To improve or probably
grab their chances with both hands.
Their chances. That's
they didn't do that, and he was forced to make 4 changes at half time.
And by then, I think the job has been done.
We're going to stay on this sports story for a while. There's a quote. Ty's going to
Jose,
read that quote.
yep.
Let's listen to what Jose... Jose always has choice words. But here is a quote from Jose Mourinho. Ty.
Okay. You call it choice words. I think it's just keeping it real. Anyways, you know
Lots of people don't like him being real.
For keeping it real. Let's use quoting Jose now. Says, you know what our best team is. I always like to think the players deserve an opportunity, but also it's an opportunity to catch the chance with both hands and ask for more. Tonight shows my future choices are going to be very, very easy. I mean, who is it talking to?
That's a veiled threat.
Yeah.
Veiled threat. The press has been going on and on about Dele Alli, how Jose Mourinho is ruining his career.
He's not ruining Dele Alli. You see,
and you
I
get
don't
your
understand.
chance.
When the press comes and it's not Mourinho that is ruining Dele Alli's career. Everybody, including a regular football fan, can know Dele has failed to improve in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
I mean, he was started as being big. He had the other managers, even in the national team.
Yeah.
So now, I remember I saw the documentary, the Spurs All or Nothing.
Yeah.
And then I think the second day or day 3 that Mourinho arrived, I had a one-on-one with Dele Alli.
Yeah.
This is what I want for you. These are the plans.
Yeah.
And then he went on. All of a sudden, phew.
Yeah.
And then they had to call him,
Tilt off again.
young man, you've got to do a whole lot more if you need to get to that level, that peak. But it's not happening.
He's obviously not doing
He's obviously not
right.
doing it. I mean, you had another chance last night, and then it was all, come on.
It was
What about Garrett?
No, Garrett, I mean, you can excuse Garrett.
Yeah.
He's not played for a while. He's got troubles off the field in Spain. He's just coming back looking to relaunch himself. And then just got off the injury bed as well. So you can still understand the situation of Garrett. But there's some players like Dele Alli that should have come on.
All right.
Anyways, let's move on to the other games. Arsenal 3-0 over
No
Dundalk.
surprises.
Yeah, a lot of changes, but I mean the other guys that came on scored 3 quick fire goals.
Now that's what Jose Mourinho was probably looking at.
Yeah.
We're talking about Arsenal also tweaking their team and then still beating a lesser opponent in Dundalk.
To be fair,
so that's the same thing as Real Antwerp.
Yeah, Antwerp is a bit better than Dundalk.
I'm not saying, but Antwerp.
I mean, that's the expectation.
Exactly.
Exactly, you're right.
But good one for Arsenal.
All right, good win for the Arsenal. Nicolas Pepe scoring perhaps at the goal of the night in that game.
He's got to be doing a whole lot.
A lot more, of
really.
course. Of
he's
course.
got to be doing. There was this huge spotlight on him coming into Arsenal, and he's really not got into that groove yet.
Now he's playing Europa League games. instead of the big matches,
even in the league, he's got that's talking about Pepe. He's got to do a whole lot.
Up. I agree.
He's got to step
totally.
up.
Eddie Nketiah, of course, on the score sheet for the Arsenal. Leicester quickly before we move on. 2-1 over AK Athens.
Well, not bad.
Just do the job.
Just do the job. And then for Leicester, AK Athens are probably even bigger than Leicester in terms of European pedigree and all of that.
That's Greece, though.
I know, but I mean, it's a good win for Brendan Rodgers and the team.
Away from home.
I mean, 3 points, massive. That should also boost their confidence in coming back into the home front and see what they can do this weekend in the Premier League. So it's a good one, really. I like the fact that Iheanacho is getting game time now, with Leicester. And I hope someone talks to Victor Osimhen as well.
Yeah.
Hey, these things do happen. A red card is not don't let that break you down, something. Just saying.
Good win for Leicester City. That's in the Europa League in Greece. Let's move on from Europa League to the Premier League. Games will be played this weekend. Some very interesting matches. Of course, the big one is between Manchester United and the Arsenal. I don't know why Rotimi is laughing. You don't consider that a big game anymore? Because I can imagine that's what you're thinking.
It's a big game. If you look at the fixtures, really. City, Chelsea, they probably have some easy games on paper. And so...
Rotimi, kindly hold your thoughts there. Let's run through the fixtures. When we come back, we'll be getting your reaction, your preview of this matches. Wolves versus Crystal Palace. That's going to be tonight. First game of the match days. It's also Sheffield versus Man City, Burnley, Chelsea will be in action tomorrow. There's also Liverpool versus West Ham, Aston Villa, Southampton, Newcastle United will be taking on Everton. Everton lost their unbeaten run last time out at the St. Mary's. There's also United versus Arsenal. That's the big matchup, as well as Tottenham will be taking on Brighton in the English Premier League later this weekend. We need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We get in the thoughts of Rotimi on all these matches. We'll also be paying tribute to a football legend on the show. Join us again. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. We're doing a preview of the English Premier League games that will be played this weekend. Of course, the big matchup is between Manchester United, who seems to have found a bit of form. They'll be taking on the Arsenal. Arsenal as well, not doing too badly in the Premier League. Rotimi, Old Trafford, United struggling at Old Trafford until they smashed Leipzig. Then you have the Champions League. But in the Premier League, different matter
different
entirely.
story.
But against Arsenal, what do you see happening in this one?
I think we'll probably get to see what we saw against Chelsea. Where both managers were a bit conservative. Nobody really want to go all out at each other. And then we saw that first goalless of the season, which was disappointing considering the teams. But then again, against United, Arsenal, Arteta, I like to a large extent. I like what he's done to that Arsenal side. Yes, it's not near perfection yet, but then again, you can see the team improving under Arteta. And then,
what do you say to guys who say, okay, yes, you're not conceding goals, but you're stifling the creativity because you don't get to see it. They win by the odd goals, one long pass, Aubameyang scores. Even Aubameyang is not been scoring. I mean, they're good defensively now, but
I think it's a gradual thing. You're not going to come into the team and just change everything. So if you can have a good enough level of confidence in your defense, in your backline and all of that, the way you set up, then who knows? You might just you can transit all of that, to the entire team, and that's why Partey was big for him on the transfer window. He's got Partey now. Probably he's looking ahead to say, okay, how do we start winning games and winning it well? That could be the next step for Arteta. I don't know his plans, but I feel Arsenal has improved. And then when they come up against the United side, who seems to be blowing hot and cold, yes, in the last 4 games they've not lost. Newcastle, PSG. Drew against Chelsea, won Leipzig in a game that nobody saw that sort of scoreline. You probably say, yes, United are also on a good run. Yeah, credit to Solskjaer, credit to the players as well. But going into this game, if you don't get conservative, we'll probably get to see good football, exciting football, considering it's Man U and Arsenal. And then, but if they decide to take the Lampard-Solskjaer approach, where let's just take 1 point.
Yeah, I agree.
It's possible, I know, but
I agree that there's been marginal improvements in the Arsenal side since Arteta took over. But you have to see, Yemi mentioned as well, too, the way they've been playing, not expansive, seems to be prioritizing results over any other thing, which is fair because it's all about results at the end of the day.
It's a big clash, so you probably prioritize results.
Why not?
You don't want to lose.
Wrong with that.
So you tell yourself, okay, let's see if we can take a point. If we are lucky, we might get 3 points, but leaving Old Trafford with a point will be good. Then let's go over to the, with all due respect, Brighton and all the other guys, and see if we can pick the regular.
So you're going for a draw? That's what it looks like from everything you've said.
I hope it doesn't end in a draw.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Before we look at the papers, Yemi, quickly, let's pay tribute to football legend who's celebrating his 60th birthday today. I'm talking about no other person than Diego Armando Maradona is 60 today. And Yemi, the fact that we're talking about this guy clocking 60 is very, very cheering for me because of the issues he's had ever since retiring. He's had a very crazy post-retirement career and all of that. So to be clocking 60 and somewhat healthy.
I have fond memories, Diego Maradona. My first experience with football, I started watching this man. And it's going to be hard for me to tell my kids, this guy you're seeing
one of the greatest.
Did amazing things with the round leather. And fond memories. You know, in my father's time, they could talk about Pele, but my own time, I'll talk about this guy because I grew up watching this guy and he's a legend. I don't even know how to describe him.
Have you forgiven him for 1994?
No, you can't hold that against him forever. Come on.
Okay.
You cannot hold that against him forever.
Himself and Kanija? Nah. Maybe when I see them one-on-one.
I mean, come on. That game didn't even affect us like that because we went into the second round and we lost to Italy. So why are you beefing?
But I know you still have a lot of respect.
He still beat us as a manager. I hope you remember.
Anyways, so Maradona, of course, scored perhaps the greatest World Cup goal ever. That was
arguably the best player ever to kick the ball. I said
arguably,
before people come for me. Arguably.
Of course.
This is Pele somewhere.
Yes, Pele somewhere. Pele incidentally clocked 80 just last week.
How did they even get into the same...
I don't get it. Like
same conversation.
20 years. Come on, man.
Two different eras.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it shows how...
So how did the rivalry... kickoff.
I mean,
even FIFA couldn't separate both.
Messi and Ronaldo,
same
generation.
Well, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
No, 2-3 years.
But
Pele and Maradona, come on, 2 decades.
I don't know where that rivalry kicked off from, but we can. The hand of God as well. So how can we forget that? Anyways, can we forget the hand of God?
6 against England.
That's in the papers.
We're in the home stretch. Let's take a look at the papers now. Let's see how far we can go with the papers. We have 3, but let's see how far we can go. Complete Sports. Let's start with Complete Sports, the Friday edition. Osimhen back to lead. Eagles attack. We talked about that already. Man City. Osimhen has made Napoli competitive. That's the comments attributed to Mancini, and a lot of other interesting stories. Thiago Silva fit and ready for Claret's tie. Rashford overtakes Mbappe to break UCL record. A lot of very, very interesting story. I don't know which one gets you talking. Thiago Silva seems to be doing well with Chelsea, in my opinion.
Oh well, yeah.
Steadied the ship somewhat.
Somehow. After that first game,
the bleep, mistakes.
Looks like he steadied it. But then again, Onuachu, how is he on the standby list?
And I think Raw has a conundrum. If you're inviting a player, play to their strengths. Don't make... I mean, this is a target.
But he's actually on record as saying this guy's going to have to adapt his own game
So that means the answer is clear then. The guy can't adapt to...
Can't adapt.
Yeah, that's why he's on standby. That's why he's on standby. Just in case something crazy happens.
Anyway, we're done with that.
Let's go to our Sports in Life. This one very interesting. A lot of people wondering why Ahmed Musa decided to leave Al Nassr of Saudi Arabia, and Sports in Life is reporting this morning that the fans actually forced him out. So that's a very interesting story. I wonder what that contains. I mean, anyways, Real Madrid considers swap deal for Dybala. There's also other results from the UEFA Europa League. We talked about all of them already. Font wants Guardiola Messi reunion. It's the front runner for the Barcelona presidential election, wanting to unite Messi and Guardiola. Any chance of that happening? Very unlikely.
Well, he's a Spaniard.
You think
Pep's contract expires this year?
At some point, he might want to go back home.
Right.
But will Messi will still be the Messi by the time he gets back to Barcelona? That's another question.
All right.
And then the other story about Real Madrid. I hear his coach Vinicius Junior might be part of that deal for Dybala.
All right. Okay. Last week for review, let's see. Sporting Sun, love interesting stories as well. But I want to go to the bottom strip. David Hay talking about Derek Chisora saying he could be the next to fight Joshua. That's if he does the number on using the fight this weekend. What do you see happen? Quickly?
I don't think Chisora is that coordinated. He might go on to lose this again.
He's a brawler, right?
You know, so... But if he goes on to nick it, it should be good for him. And then let's see if that fight with Joshua can happen. But he's got to go past this hurdle first.
Of course,
and
don't take your eye off the ball. Before we on the combat seat, before we close the show, Ogunfowora Bosun, we have your message. You're saying, in as much as we appreciate the ambition of Israel Adesanya, I think he shouldn't get ahead of himself yet. In heavyweight, it's more of brawn than finesse. And you know, could be lights out for him. That's not the case.
That's how we wrap things up on the show. But first, I want to thank Rotimi for his time on the show.
Many thanks.
Hopefully, we'll do this some other time.
No problem.
All right. Promise on live TV. Okay. All right. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your day. We enjoyed doing this. We're back again next week.
Right.
Bye for now.
I am Taya Salam. Thanks for watching.